Alina had always known her mother, Mirabelle, was a little different. While other moms baked cookies or worked office jobs, Mirabelle spent her days swishing a wand and mumbling incantations. That was because Mirabelle wasn't just any mom, she was a fairy godmother. But there was one tiny, little problem: she was absolutely terrible at magic. Mirabelle's spells never turned out the way they were supposed to. Once, she had tried transforming a pumpkin into a carriage, but it had turned into a gigantic, slimy slug that had chased Alina around the backyard. Another time, she had attempted to give a girl glass slippers, but they had become a pair of fuzzy pink Crocs instead. Alina had spent her whole life fixing her mother's magical disasters before anyone noticed. The Fairy Council had no idea how bad Mirabelle truly was at her job because Alina always covered for her. She would use quick thinking, distractions, and sometimes sheer luck to ensure that Mirabelle's magic mishaps didn't ruin lives. But then, everything changed with one royal assignment. One afternoon, a glittering envelope arrived at their cottage. Mirabelle gasped as she opened it, her wings fluttering in excitement. A royal client, she squealed, clutching the letter. Alina, this is huge. The council trusts me with a princess. Alina's stomach dropped. If Mirabelle couldn't even handle simple spells, how in the world was she going to transform a future queen? Mirabelle danced around the kitchen, excitedly gathering ingredients: fairy dust, enchanted lace, shimmering moonlight essence. But Alina could already imagine the disasters waiting to happen. What if Mom turned the princess into a frog instead of making her beautiful? What if she gave the prince a donkey tail instead of charm and wit? Alina knew she had to be ready to step in. Because if her mom messed up in front of the royal court, it wouldn't just be embarrassing, it would be a fairy godmother catastrophe. Princess Evelina was the definition of royal grace, except for one problem. She had absolutely no confidence. I'm supposed to meet Prince Theo at the grand ball, Evelina confessed, pacing nervously as Mirabelle waved her wand. But what if he doesn't like me? What if I trip? What if I say something ridiculous? Mirabelle beamed. Leave everything to me. I'll make you dazzling, confident, and absolutely perfect. Alina gulped. That was exactly what she was afraid of. Mirabelle raised her wand dramatically and chanted, "Babidi babidi beautiful." With a burst of golden sparkles, Evelina transformed. But instead of a stunning gown, she was suddenly draped in a ridiculous, neon-colored dress covered in flashing lights. Her hair stuck straight up like she had been electrocuted, and her shoes were clown shoes. Alina's jaw dropped. Evelina stared at her reflection in horror. Oh dear, Mirabelle mumbled. Maybe the wand needs recalibrating. Alina had no time to waste. She had to fix this before anyone saw. As Mirabelle fumbled through her spellbook, trying to figure out what went wrong, Alina grabbed Evelina's hand and whispered, "Come with me. I know how to fix this." With a sewing kit, quick thinking, and a little stolen fairy dust, Alina transformed Evelina into a true princess. She stitched a breathtaking gown, styled her hair, and even found a pair of real glass slippers hidden in her mom's storage closet. By the time she was finished, Evelina looked absolutely perfect, but Mirabelle had no idea that Alina had done all the work. Oh, good, my magic finally worked, Mirabelle cheered, clapping her hands. Alina sighed. This was going to be a long night. The royal ballroom was packed. Chandeliers sparkled, music played, and nobles danced. Evelina stepped inside, radiant and confident, thanks to Alina's hard work. Prince Theo's eyes widened when he saw her. You look incredible, Evelina smiled. Thanks to my fairy godmother. Alina exhaled in relief. Maybe, just maybe, they could pull this off. Then she spotted Mirabelle waving her wand again. Alina's heart stopped. Oh no, what is she doing now? Poof! A sudden explosion of sparkles filled the air. The chandeliers turned into massive floating marshmallows. The royal orchestra's instruments turned into honking geese, causing absolute chaos. Evelina's perfect gown started glowing like a firework, flashing neon pink and green. The ballroom erupted into panic. Alina raced to fix everything, running through the ballroom and desperately reversing the spells before the royal guards arrested them all. The Fairy Council arrived furious. Mirabelle, your magic is out of control. Mirabelle gulped. I can explain. Alina couldn't let her mother's career be destroyed. She stepped forward. It wasn't her magic, she said quickly. It was an, unexpected magical surge. It happens sometimes. The council narrowed their eyes but seemed to accept it. Regardless, we cannot let you handle royal clients again, they declared. Mirabelle looked heartbroken. But then, something unexpected happened. Evelina stepped forward. Actually, she said boldly, I owe everything to my fairy godmother. I wouldn't have had the courage to face tonight if it weren't for her. Mirabelle's eyes widened in shock. The council whispered among themselves before finally announcing, you will keep your status, but on probation. It wasn't perfect, but at least Mirabelle wasn't banished. Back at home, Mirabelle sighed. I know I'm a terrible fairy godmother, Alina. Alina hesitated before saying, you may be bad at magic, but you're amazing at something else. Mirabelle raised an eyebrow. What's that? Alina smiled. You make people believe in themselves. For the first time, Mirabelle didn't seem sad about her magic. She grinned and said, and I have the best assistant in the world. Alina laughed. More like your full-time damage control. Mirabelle still had magic mishaps every day, turning their cat into a squirrel, accidentally making pancakes float, turning her tea into a miniature ocean. But for the first time, she didn't feel like a failure. Because no matter how bad her spells went, she had Alina by her side. And together, they were unstoppable.